In January of this year here in our country, a shooting at a mosque in Quebec City killed 6 people. And the question, was it terrorism or not? The man police say was responsible for the shooting, Alexandre Bissonnette, was formally charged with murder and with attempted murder, but not terrorism. And that's a decision that has one Canadian Muslim group deeply concerned. For more, joining us, Faisal Bhabha. He is the chair of the National Council of Canadian Muslims Policy Committee. Faisal, great to have you with us here on CTV, and thank you for making some time for us here on this story today.
Very pleased to be here.
So line it out for us, if you can, your concerns here about the charges that were made against this gentleman and, of course, the terrorism charge that was not.
Well, first of all, I should say that the NCCM is pleased to see charges brought and is pleased to see that the prosecution appears to have confidence that these charges can stick and that a conviction can be secured and that a lengthy sentence will happen. I think everybody must agree that this individual needs to be put away and put away for a long time. What NCCM is concerned about is more the social climate in which this decision is made and the way that that decision might appear to confirm a stereotype that only Muslims are capable of being terrorists.
Right. And do you believe that by charging this man with terrorism-related offenses, that would have sent a different message? That's what you're saying. Well,
it may have, but, you know, we recognize that's not the function of the prosecutor when exercising prosecutorial discretion. That is the power that the prosecutor has, that the Attorney General has to lay charges and to proceed with them. The prosecutor has an ethical obligation to only proceed with charges that are likely to result in a conviction and to do so in accordance with the public interest. So it's up to the Attorney General to make those decisions. Those decisions are not reviewable by courts. So we're not calling for any sort of action. We're simply reminding the Canadian public that regardless of what the Crown decides to do in these charges, that doesn't prevent anybody from continuing to view this incident as a terrorist attack, which it most certainly was.
Do you think it's time to review maybe some of the laws on the books in order to perhaps expand the scope?
Well, actually, we would take the position, and we have taken the position as an organization for at least the last 15 years, that Canada doesn't need anti-terrorism laws. Canada has a criminal code that has proven to be sufficient to prosecute people who carry out the worst forms of ideological or politically motivated or hate-based attacks in this country. We saw it with Justin Bourque, who apparently had a hate for authority and for government and carried out a targeted killing of police officers. He was not charged with terrorism, but he received the stiffest sentence in Canadian history. So we're not concerned about the symbolism of acts taken by the Crown. We're concerned about how the public will receive that, and so we're trying to raise awareness about the appearance of a double standard.
Yeah, it really does sort of trigger an interesting conversation, Faisal, about, you know, what is and what is not considered terrorism, and what do we consider domestic terrorism, and whether it has to do with the person's racial background. You know, the message you guys are trying to get across here seems to be, listen, you know, there shouldn't be one rule for one group of people and another rule for somebody else.
Right. Well, we've got a problem in that it appears there's been a number of young men who have committed violent acts against law enforcement, against the military, and against civilians. And there are identifiable incidents of that occurring. Sometimes they do it in the name of white supremacy, sometimes they do it in the name of anarchy, and sometimes they do it in the name of Islamic extremism. And sometimes they do it for no purpose at all. And so our question is, what does it matter what the motivation is? When it comes to these heinous acts, it's important that criminal law be free from bias and that it pursue facts and that it the system convict on the basis of facts.
We appreciate you taking some time to talk to us here on CTV, Faisal. Thank you for this.
Thank you.